So you didn't know you were Māori?
No, I didn't.
Till what age?
Oh, my 30s. My mother disclosed the fact that my father, who I'd never met, was Māori, and he was Ngāi Tahu. It gave me a sense of belonging at that stage that I'd never felt before, but what I belonged to, I didn't understand, having not been brought up in it. And I spent a lot of time in the kitchen with a tea towel. Here we have our marae, mako, and I eventually became the chair of Wairewa Rūnanga for maybe 14 or 15 years, and the tribe is incredibly important to me. We had access and had rangatiratanga over thousands of hectares. Kaitariti Spit, the catchment, right across to Akaroa Harbour, all the southern bays areas. We were the kaitiaki of that particular area. Around Wairewa, I think one time I counted up, there was about 15 pās. So a significant sort of settlement area. This area was completely covered in forest. Tūtara, rimu, all that gamut of podocarps. When we're looking up to the head of the lake, originally that would have been a massive wetland area. The forests were our people's playground, their pantry, their cathedral. They would have known all of the major trees, all of the places where the birds roosted at certain times of the year, and it was their whole world. When Menel, whose job was to extinguish Indigenous rights to lands, Menel came through Wairewa in 1840. We were left with 440 acres at the end of the day, which was not enough to sustain our people. What are you going to do with 440 acres? Mautai was our equivalent of Honihiki. He fought against colonisation. He refused to sign the treaty because basically he didn't trust the Crown and thought they had nothing to do with his world. When they set up the first mill, Mautai came out of the bush with his warriors and went up and cut the belt that drove the steam engine. Everybody ran away, but obviously they came back, and in a few short years they stripped the catchment. It was like an Amazonian apocalypse. Hundreds of thousands of cubic metres of timber leaving this particular catchment. They barged them out through the lake, taken away to help build Canterbury, as far away as Australia. And then for the next few years, Wairewa was known as the Valley of Fires. There was the slash and the burn off from those remaining forests lasted for years. It destroyed the soul of the people. So they were forced into the settler economy, incurred debt. Other people left, so it broke the whole social fabric down. Time doesn't heal intergenerational trauma, it just compounds. So all of those statistics that you see in the newspapers and on the television in terms of Māori, most of that is driven by intergenerational trauma. We're at what we call Moana, and this is one of two farms. The other farm is Makara, which is Magnet Bay Farm. Jim Wright was a Pākehā farmer lived here all his life. He was a recluse. I visited him on a regular basis because we were wanting to protect a past site on the property, and we needed his support to be able to do that. Often when we were working down here, Jim would be up here on his horse watching down. His lawyer rang me up after he'd passed and said, "Oh, Robin, can you come into the office?" And I said, "Actually, I'm on my way to a meeting and I'll come in tomorrow." He said, "No, I think you better come in right away." So I grabbed another member of the Rūnanga who had been working with me, and we went in there, and lo and behold, he left the whole farm to us. Jim left us 440 hectares of land, which is over 1,000 acres, I guess, which stretches from Makara Magnet Bay over to Tumbledown Bay to Kyle. Significant chunk of land with beach frontage all the way along.
So it was land coming back to you?
It was land coming back to us.
And Jim Wright would have known that?
Jim Wright did know that. We've put it in a trust now, so it can never be sold. And now we're in the process of recloaking. So our farm is 440 hectares, approximately 240, 300 hectares are going to be planted in native trees. That project will take, up to 10 years. We've already planted 45,000, and I think at least 45 plus this coming season. That's a partnership with Orion. They're interested, I guess, in the carbon credits. Me personally, I'm more interested in seeing the birds back, and the whole project that we've got going here in terms of the recloaking, there's a whole raft of things, but mainly the connection to whenua and identity. Kia tau, tau mai ko te mauri tū, ko te mauri no ho, ko te mauri o raki. Mautai is my inspiration. I speak to him all the time, and I'm sure he speaks to me. He gives me direction. He works so hard to protect the land and the people, and, we're still trying to do that.